On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, Europe will have the power to ban blockchain technology in January of 2018. Circle allows you to send Bitcoin directly from your regular bank account with zero fees. Just register a debit card and from then on, you can send Bitcoin to any address in a single step. Get $5 cash back when you make your first $25 transaction by using the link in the video description below. Hi there guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. I am your host, Chris Coney. So let's get into today's news. So today we turn once again to Bitcoin.com. This article is by Kevin Helms and it's entitled, Europe will have the power to ban blockchain technology as early as 2018. January 2018, in fact. So let's see what this has got to say for itself. Now the headline actually sounds worse than the article itself, so we'll see that in a minute. So the European Securities and Markets Authority, the ESMA, is responsible for promoting investor protection, orderly markets, and financial stability. At a blockchain conference last week in London, Patrick Armstrong, a senior risk analysis officer, detailed ESMA's approach to blockchain technology. One strategy, he noted, was to ban blockchain products or processes altogether. Well, that's not really a strategy, is it? That's just avoiding having to deal with it, and thereby also denying people any of the laundry list of benefits that blockchain technology provides. But let's continue. Under the heading of ESMA has the power to ban blockchain technology, it says Armstrong said, when confronted with a financial innovation, a regulator can roughly take one of three approaches. Oh, well, do tell us, Patrick. The first approach, which Armstrong called the restrictive approach, is to ban or restrict products and processes based on blockchain technology. Well, for someone who has a good grasp of blockchain technology, these news stories are on par with a story that would say something like, Patrick Armstrong from the ESMA was a little bit hungry during his workday, so he ate a piece of coal. Now, the reason that's on par with that is you wouldn't expect A, for that to happen in the first place, and B, that you would have to explain why that's a bad idea. So in this case, banning products and processes based on blockchain technology is like saying we're going to ban the manufacture of any device that uses a QWERTY keyboard. That would be including the use of on-screen keyboards that use the QWERTY standard. And what's most fascinating to me about that possibility is that how the hell do you ban a process that's based on blockchain technology? Processes are usually invisible because they are like business processes, right? And similarly, it would be very hard to identify when blockchain technology was being used because a blockchain isn't a thing that you buy off the shelf. It's a conceptual approach to building a technology system. So that's just, to my mind, that seems impossible to implement. But you just say that's one of three possible approaches they could take. But the bottom line about that is it's based on prohibition. And prohibition just never works. Like I always say, people will not go without. If they have a desire to get something, they will get it, whether it's legal, illegal, or whatever. So blocking it outright is never a solution because it doesn't actually prevent people from doing the thing that you're trying to block them from doing. Anyway, Armstrong confirmed that the ESMA is not considering the first approach, so they're not looking at banning blockchain technology altogether. Quote, "We can rule out the first restrictive approach," he said, citing that the authority does not see blockchain posing risks to its three objectives. That's specific. I like specific. So he's saying the reason they're not restricting the use of blockchain technology just yet is because they have three objectives that it doesn't conflict with. Now, at least they have three objectives that they can use as a decision-making yardstick. So the three objectives are stability, protection, and integrity. Now, they would have to define those a bit more, but at least they're not just arbitrarily and emotionally making decisions based on personal preferences, because that's the thing that really gets on my nerves. They've already decided stability, protection, and integrity are the three values, if you like, that they operate on. And then when they're trying to make a decision, should we ban this thing? Well, you don't just give your own opinion. You say, well, put it on the wall. What is it? Define it, blockchain technology. And then you have to check it off. Does it cause instability? Does it violate protection, or does it cause a lack of integrity? And if the answer was yes to those things, you'd have to ban it, right? And I would be in support of that because I agree with those three values. Anyway, so then he goes on to talk about the wait and see approach. It says, a more sensible approach for ESMA is the wait and see approach, which it has already taken, according to Armstrong anyway. He called this second approach the watchful approach, noting that, quote, the innovation has not reached a tipping point where active regulatory participation is needed, close quote. Right. And if, for example, they find that crowdfunding campaigns in crypto stand out as being the thing that is posing the greatest risk to people, then they can just implement some simple regulations that govern that specific area. So by that I mean only fix the stuff that needs fixing. Don't use crowdfunding as an excuse to screw with the rest of it, right? So I personally like the wait and see approach because it could technically last forever. I mean, imagine you want to cross a busy street and you're looking for a gap. So you keep making these like jerky movements every now and again because you think you've seen a gap and you're about to step off the curb, but then you realize, oh, no, the gap isn't big enough, so you step back onto the curb once again, right? And as long as the traffic remains heavy, a big enough gap just never appears. And then eventually all the traffic dies down and you can finally cross. But by then, so much time has passed, you realize that there is actually now no need for you to cross the road anymore. And that's what I hope happens here. I hope that the rate of innovation keeps the traffic so intense that it never creates enough of a gap for regulation to creep in. And the problem regulators will have is that if the free market is good at identifying the problems and solving them autonomously, after a while it'll become obvious that the regulators have been stood on the curb doing nothing for a long time, and it'll be obvious that they've become redundant. Now the threat of becoming obsolete in that way is likely to cause them to prematurely run into the middle of the road and cause a massive crash and a massive pileup. So that's my only concern. The principle of the wait and see approach is valid. It's just I doubt the regulators will have the discipline, the willpower, and the personal restraint to stand there for too long. Anyway, let's go to the blue bit now, which deals with the third approach. So the third approach, which Armstrong calls the facilitative or catalyst approach, was also ruled out for the time being. Using this approach, the ESMA would actively facilitate and regulate the product or process, if there are enough potential economic and social benefits. However, Armstrong indicated that it's too early for this approach as well. So let's go back. The first approach of restricting the use of blockchain technology, that's a negative approach, right? It's a blocking approach. The wait and see approach is kind of neutral, and this third facilitative approach is positively supportive, I would call it. Now, to me, that sounds like it would turn the regulators into an active evangelist for blockchain technology. They would be proactive and make people aware of the benefits of blockchain technology and perhaps even educate them about it. I mean, what a thing that would be. To take preventative measures to protect people by empowering them with the education that would help the people to protect themselves from harm. I mean, who knows? They may even hire Cryptoversity to help them deliver the training. So thanks for joining me today, guys. If you liked this episode, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Leave me a comment below with some feedback and get subscribed. And please support the Cryptoverse and boost cryptocurrency adoption by going to cryptoversity.com/podcast and becoming a patron. From as little as $10 a month, you can secure Cryptoversity's future, get unlimited access to all Cryptoversity courses, and access a private patrons-only chat group where you get direct access to me. But that's all for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.